Rohan, short general assessment of that game first of all. That's all right.
I thought it was a terrific contest. Pretty open game, great conditions for it. Both teams attacked it. Could have gone either way, and it very nearly did.
Naturally, I imagine the feeling disappointment of exiting the game, but as you said there, I imagine plenty to take in terms of positives, particularly how you started the game.
That was a good game. You know, I think as a fan, you supporter, someone that follows rugby league, you can be disappointed with the result, but certainly that was a good game of footy. Two good teams competing for the first step of a big prize. So I'm proud of the effort of our players. Wigan executed some plays really nicely, and in the end, that was the difference.
Is that generally how you see it? That it literally could have been one of those that went either way. Clearly,
it was even at all stages during the game, it was a good battle, regardless of the scoreline. There was always two teams going head to head there today. I thought, it certainly could have gone both ways.
There were obviously chances in that second half, none more so than Harry Newman's break towards the end. And what do you say to Harry after that chance?
Keep your head up, keep moving forward. It's easy to sit in the grandstand and say you shoulda, woulda, coulda, but it's all happening so fast, and Bevan French is an expert at interrupting those sort of situations, has been his whole life. So, it's never down to one play in a game. It's never down to one play.
In terms of selection, obviously no Ash Hanley or Blake Austin. How late were those calls? Did you have a fair bit of notice beforehand?
No, Osto he trained fully on Thursday and had a scan yesterday after feeling a bit ginger, and he wasn't right. So we sort of trained that way yesterday, but we weren't quite sure until last night. And Ash Hanley was ill, and we gave him as long as possible, but he just wasn't in any state to compete in a game like that. So that was a very late withdrawal, that one.
Do you have any sort of timescale on Blake? Is it serious or is it?
It's probably one of those sort of 2 to 4 week type things.
On their replacements, Morgan Gannon's it's the first time we've seen him in a competitive game in the halves. How do you think he went?
Yeah, he played his way, carried the ball really well, competed well. He'll take some learns out of some situations there, but the only way to learn really is to get experience. And with missing a couple of halves, that was a great opportunity for Gano, and he'll be better for it.
Have you picked up any fresh injuries or come through okay?
I think we're okay. There's the usual bumps and bruises in there, which will be getting assessed now.
And just finally from me, you've already mentioned obviously it was a great game for the spectators. I know you spoke in the week about your memories of the Challenge Cup. Did the atmosphere itself feel any different to a regular Super League game?
It's a bit of a tricky one there because it wasn't the same crowd as there normally is, and I understand the circumstances for that. The crowd were fantastic. Wigan brought a great following. Our following were terrific. It was, you could tell it was a game that meant a lot, but I think every game Wigan leads is always, and any close game like that is going to be enjoyed by the spectators, and both sets of fans helped to make it a great spectacle there today, I thought.
Harry obviously had the chance to pass in the first half as well when he scored. As a coach, do you back a player who backs himself?
Yeah, you got to back the instincts of players, and in the end, the one in the first half turned out well. Second half didn't. So
there's been some suggestions after the game that he's got a bit of a selfish streak. Do you think that's a bit unfair?
I think he made a decision. That's no one wants to win more than Harry. So he made a choice. But as I said, it never comes down to one play. There was heaps of other plays during the game that we could have done better, and maybe we weren't in that situation. But as I also said earlier, Wigan executed some plays really well. They're a good team. It was a good game, and you've got to be willing to put yourself out there and try and win those big games. You've got to go hard at it, and you got to suffer the disappointment sometimes. But I think it was definitely a game that could have gone either way.
Is there ongoing frustration about how you're playing half to half at the moment, game to game?
everyone wants to make a thing about the first half, but I don't think we played poorly in the second half. We played against a good team and we had some near misses and they executed a few plays well. There was no set restarts in the second half. So, maybe the game was open enough or something. I'm not quite sure there.
Obviously, it could have gone either way, Ron, but you give him a bit of credit because that's Wigan, isn't it? He's never give up. That's been in their sort of DNA for years, hasn't it? That never say die sort of attitude. Yeah,
I've said it 2 or 3 times already. Wigan played well. They're a good team. They're well coached. They believe in each other, and they've got some very dangerous players who, in those conditions out there, got a chance to really express themselves. And we did a lot of good to solve some of the issues, but in the end, didn't execute enough of our own.
I know you said about Harry, he's an unbelievable competitor, isn't he? He's quite an emotional guy. Is he a bit upset about how it's ended there with that sort of last play, or is he all right about it?
There's a group of disappointed men in there in general because they've not got what they came for and they put a lot of effort in. Harry is very disappointed, but they're all equally disappointed about the result, not about any one incident. They put a lot of effort in as a group, and that's what sport's about. We're disappointed with some of our execution, but the effort and the intent was there.
How did you think Aidan Caesar went after a bit of a period out of the side?
Yeah, I think he had a steady game. He was a real threat carrying the ball there. At the back end, he poked his nose through, didn't quite get the reward on the end of it, which could have ended up being a big play in the game. But he'll be better for it as well. It's always difficult after you've been out for a month to get back into the full battle, and that was a hectic game. But he did well.
Were you frustrated at all with the ruck speed in that second half?
I think the last time I asked, there was no set restarts. So I just, it's a really difficult one to understand how there's just none. Like, the rule was brought in to be able to not penalise, but to make a rule. So I think it's very inconsistent. But overall, the game was end to end. There was a lot of opportunities. It wasn't like many of the other games this season that have been really slow. That was a good game.
I know you've already sort of addressed if there were any other injuries, but Cam Smith seems to be limping towards the end. Is that just a ban?
I think he had a bad cramp at the end there, and we had an interchange to use, so there's no point having someone that's limping around.